repent and believe in the gospel. We are living in a very precarious time in our country. The President of the United States is in need of repenting. But so too are some of the bishops and cardinals in our own country and in the Vatican itself. Let me tell you what happened this past week. Aside from the inauguration, President Biden began to implement some of the promises he made during the campaign. And one of those promises had to do with providing unlimited abortion. One of the first things he did was to rejoin WHO, the World Health Organization, part of the United Nations. WHO is one of the biggest providers of international abortion. When asked about the Mexico City policy, which states that no government money should go to provide abortion throughout the world, his press secretary said that decision will come in a few days. Also at stake is the Hyde Amendment. The Hyde Amendment says that no federal money should be spent on abortion in this country, and there will be an attempt to overturn the Hyde Amendment. Amazingly, some of the American bishops in the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops decided that perhaps it was time to respond to the president's very liberal and over-the-top abortion policies. Must have come as a great shock to them as to what he was going to do. He talked about it throughout the campaign, but as some say, better late than never. And Archbishop Gomez, the president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Archbishop of Los Angeles, wrote a beautiful pastoral letter expressing the concerns of the Catholic bishops regarding President Biden's stance on unlimited abortion. A few of the cardinals in this country thought that the letter should not be published and appealed to the Vatican for fear that if it were to be published, it might inhibit some of the further negotiations that the Vatican wanted to have with the Biden administration. And so, the pastoral letter was squelched. But it got worse. Friday was the 48th anniversary of that dastardly, despicable, and illegal Supreme Court ruling called Roe v. Wade, which said that abortion was a legal right in the United States. And at that time, President Biden released a statement. And he talked about providing unlimited health care for all women. That's what we call a euphemism. Euphemism. It means you're using code language. And he went so far as to say that he would have this unlimited health care codified into law. Codified means that you use precedent, you make it a law, of federal law, and therefore even the states that have placed limitations on abortion regarding time and place, those laws would be null and void. That is what you call rubbing salt into the wound. In the meantime, the president touts himself being a devout Catholic, and even claims to have a picture of Pope Francis on his desk. And of course, the media just loves it. Why? Because then they too can promote the narrative. Devout Catholic. If he says it's good, it must be good. Even the Catholic Church agrees. Why? Why are the bishops, some of the bishops, some of the cardinals, some of those in the Vatican, so willing to allow this lie to be perpetrated on the American people, and literally on the people of the world? Let me give you some of the reasons. First reason, it comes under the category of we need to dialogue. Whenever you hear that term, be careful. Exactly what does to dialogue mean? Well, the bishops and cardinals said, well, Rome and the bishops need to dialogue with the Biden administration. But dialogue means what? It means that not only are you going to listen to each other, but dialogue means that you can come to some kind of perhaps a common ground, negotiate a deal. There can be no negotiations, there can be no deal when it comes to abortion and the sanctity of human life from conception until natural death. And I ask you, when has there ever been a compromise with the pro-choice, pro-death left wing who demands that abortion be an unlimited right of every woman? Compromise? Dialogue? We've gone from 1973 permission of abortion to partial birth abortion to infanticide. Killing a baby even after the baby is born. And then the mother and the doctor can decide whether or not the baby should live. That is the fruit of dialogue. Second point is the concern for the delivery of services. Many feel that perhaps we should be a little more quiet about abortion because we can negotiate for other things, other services that we think are important, or other programs, or other policies. So people will say, well, we like the president's idea about immigration reform. Or we can agree somewhat to his concern for the environment. I'm not saying they're unimportant, but how you handle those issues is a policy issue, and that is debatable. How do you come to a policy or program that works and is good for those people who are anxious to come into our country or to stay in our country, or to those people who are concerned about global warming. Those issues are not issues that are intrinsically evil. Abortion is intrinsically evil. And you cannot compare apples and oranges. And so don't be duped into believing that we can negotiate the truth for some things that they may or may not be true, or may have different ways of solving the problem. There is no way of unkilling a baby. Delivering services. And the last lie has to do with secularism. It's a term that I'm sure you've heard before. It's a worldly view. It's a worldly view. We have to all try to get along with the rest of the world. We have the elites in the UN. The International Monetary Fund. And these people can work together with religious organizations and show us a better way to live. These organizations are secular organizations. They are not religious organizations, and they are not guided by gospel principles. As a matter of fact, oftentimes, they are guided by principles which are antithetical to what the gospel proclaims. The gospel says this today: repent, repent, and follow me. Repent and hear the good news. Repent and believe in the gospel. It doesn't say repent and follow the lead of the United Nations. As we said earlier, the White House and the media are anxious to portray President Biden as a devout Catholic. He is not a devout Catholic. And any bishop or cardinal or priest who tries to buy into that lie, who gives truth to that lie, is a wolf in shepherd's clothing. God love you.